Hey there, welcome to our 10th free 30 plus day get up and go challenge. Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. I want to welcome you to day one of our 10th challenge. We've done a challenge about every other month since COVID began in April of 2020. When COVID first hit, well, of course it was around a little before that. I actually had it over the holidays, over Christmas and New Year's holiday in December of 2019, before they knew that COVID even existed. I was super duper sick. And then it started to come out right actually the day after my birthday. We were up at the cabin celebrating my big 60th birthday. I hate to admit that, but my 60th birthday with my sisters and my granddaughter. And the travel bans and things began to be announced, and everything was changing really, really fast. And when we got home, everything was shut down in my home state of Wisconsin for a 2-week period. But before that 2-week period had hardly even begun, we knew it was going to be another month. And I knew that in order to keep moving, keep myself getting up and moving and doing things, I had to do something. And I had to be able to do what I could do with what I had right then to help other people as well. So I decided I would do a challenge. And in March, I did a 10-day get up and go challenge and realized that if we were going to be down and had different opportunities and different ways to use our time, that the month of April needed to be a bigger challenge. I was going to do a challenge every day for the month of April. And over time, it's morphed over the last year, almost 2 years now. It's morphed to what it is now. And I'll explain that in a few minutes. I'll say what the framework is, how we do it, what we do every day, what you can expect, what's expected of you, because we get out of things what we put into them, right? We only get out of things what we put into them. So I like to welcome you. I want you to ask questions. If you've got questions, if you've got concerns, if you've got examples to share, make a little video and share it under the comments or share it on the page. I would say share it on the page versus in the private group. Unless it's a private thing, then share it in the Get Up and Go private group. I want to invite you all, if you haven't done it yet, to join the private Get Up and Go Facebook group, because that is where the previous 9 challenges reside. I don't believe in disappearing content, so they're all there if you want to go back and watch them, and you can see how the challenge has changed over time. Now, the format and the expectations for this particular challenge are going to be what I found's worked the best so far, and that is a 10-minute or less video or lesson, we'll call it, or challenge for the day, and then your homework will take you probably maybe 10 minutes, usually much less, depending on what the homework is for the day. Now, to hold myself accountable, I have this great little cow timer, and I set it on 10 minutes because I don't want to go over. I think last challenge, I don't remember if I went over or not. Previous challenge, I didn't go over at all. So, or that could be mixed up. It could have been last and previous, but whatever. So I'm committing to be in here every morning, 10 minutes or less. And, I think I mentioned in the No Nonsense November series yesterday or the day before, everybody, we all have 10 minutes, right? We can pretend we don't, we can tell ourselves we don't, that we're too busy. But if we don't have 10 minutes to make our life easier, to install a system in our subconscious that will make our life exponentially easy or going forward, then there's something very, very wrong, and we really need to address it and figure out what's going on. Now, the purpose of this challenge is to teach you and reinforce the learning for me that we can have a framework or a process that we use whenever we're facing a change, a challenge, a problem, an obstacle, a roadblock, whatever you call it, a hurdle. We can take that process, learn that process, apply it to all the different areas and aspects of our life, practice it, install it in our subconscious so that it becomes as easy as breathing, as automatic as breathing. So how do we go about doing that? Well, we look at it, we learn the process, which is called the SOAP framework, which we'll get into in a few days. And then we practice it for each of the different areas and aspects of our life, our physical life, our physical health, our mental, our emotional, our spiritual health, our financial health, our contribution, what we're here to share with the rest of the world, and our relationships. And then I added in April of this year, communication and confidence as core skill areas that all of us can improve in all the time, right? No matter how confident you are, your confidence could always be better, because there's a difference between confidence and ego. No matter how awesome a communicator you are, I still stumble over all my words, and I've done over 5,000 videos in the last couple of years, and I still trip on my tongue and say the wrong words and use the wrong phrases, or could have said it better, right? So I added those areas. So we'll discuss and we will use this SOAP framework in all 9 areas and aspects of our life. I go through the challenge right along with you. So if somebody doesn't offer up an example or themselves as a guinea pig that they want to go through a problem or a challenge in a particular area of their life, then I'll just do it myself and pick an area and share that with you. Every day, in addition, we will have a tool that we use to make our life easier. I realize that over 5-6 decades of living, I have accumulated an incredible toolbox of literally hundreds, if not thousands, of different tools and techniques and strategies and frameworks that work really, really well for me. And I'm like, well, if I'm using them, why wouldn't I share those with other people? Because if they're valuable to me, chances are some of them will be valuable to you. Now, what if you've heard of one before or used one before and you didn't think it worked great for you? Well, maybe I'll share it in a slightly different way or apply some experience or tweak that makes it actually work for you. And maybe when you first heard about a tool, it wasn't the right tool for you. It wasn't the right time for you to be exposed to that tool. But today, or the day during the challenge, might be the right time, might be the right day. So I'm going to encourage you to try to use the tool, at least attempt to use the tool, and don't necessarily give up because it doesn't work the first time for you. I remember learning how to meditate and visualize. I really had a hard time learning how to meditate and visualize, but I didn't give up. I kept going and going and going until I figured out what worked for me. Same thing with hypnosis. It took a long time for me to figure out what self-hypnosis techniques and strategies work best for me. And that's what I'm going to encourage you to do with every tool that I share. Try it on, see what works for you, keep what works, throw away the rest, right? Anybody who's teaching you anything, any coach, any mentor, any guru, always think for yourself and question, what does this mean to me, and how can I make this work for me? And if I can't, then I'm going to let it go. So what is our tool for today? Because we're going to start off right off the bat. Our tool for today is pen and paper, or some kind of a writing utensil. Could be a crayon, could be blood if you so choose. But our tool is pen and paper, writing things down. Why? Because if we write it down, that means it's important. If we write it down, it helps to reinforce it in our memory. If we write it down, we're more likely to take action on it. So over the course of the challenge, I have had many notebooks and many pens and papers as I've done the challenge right along with you. And today, this time through, I started with a little notebook. The last 2 challenges, I've just needed a smaller notebook, but I want to document the journey. I want to keep track of what I'm doing and learning, and excuse me, keep a record of what I've learned, what I'm doing. If I go back and I say, okay, well, last year I did my relationship with my ex-husband already. Do I want to do that again, or is there some room to improve and room for growth there with respect to the area of our relationships or something? So I encourage you to write down and capture the things that are important to you. Write down the things that mean something to you, because that's what really matters. Our action item today is to ask ourselves a question and then share in the comments below. And the question is, every day we'll have a lesson, a tool that teaches that lesson. Then we'll have an action item or an assignment or homework, whatever you want to call it, to apply, use the tool to do the thing that we're doing for the day. So today, we're just answering a question, and we're going to share it in the comments below this video. And the question is, how many challenges have you faced in your life? And I want you to share in the comments below the biggest challenge that you've ever faced in your life. For me, I've literally had 250,000 or more challenges in my life. Now, I define challenges maybe as smaller things than you do, but it's up to you. How do you define it? What's a challenge to you? What feels like a challenge to you? And how many of them have you experienced in your life? And then share in the comments below the thing that's been the biggest challenge for you. And it can be something that other people would consider small, Again, all that matters is your experience with this particular challenge. Mine personally was a sudden cardiac arrest. In 2010, I had a sudden cardiac arrest and died. We'll probably talk about that a little bit throughout the challenge. Not much, just a little bit, if it comes up in examples. So, every day, 10 minutes or less, lesson, tool, apply the tool to the action item that you're going to be doing for the day. Some of these, the first few days, are building blocks. We're building up a strong foundation to build our SOAP framework on top of. Then we're going to practice the SOAP framework enough so that you can have experience in any area and aspect of your life and know how to apply it and how to make it work for you. And by repeating it and practicing it, it will get installed in our subconscious. So we won't have to consciously think about the steps of the SOAP framework, the process, every time we're faced with a change or a challenge. But we can live confidently knowing that by allowing that to live in our subconscious, we will always analyze any obstacle or change or challenge that comes our way and come up with the best result for us, and a much better result than if we didn't have a framework or a process for dealing with that. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, I will be with you tomorrow, and we're going to hop right into our challenge. Do I have it yet? No, I don't have it done yet. And I don't really have today's done yet either. I'll have to go in and do the action. Pen and paper, writing utensil and paper. Like I said, I like to dedicate my own notebook to it so that I can go back and I can say, okay, I think it was December that I worked on that. Let me go back and look it up. Otherwise, it's just a way of capturing our life. If our life is worth living, it's worth recording. All right, I will be with you tomorrow. Bye.